not working. I'll plan on it till it is.
How can I help?
I think one thing that's interesting is as we go along here, this is going to be an unfolding process. So first of all, you're always accountable to your commissioners. You're always accountable to your county. You're always wanting to make sure, and this is very different across the state. Some of the counties in Colorado have very sophisticated economic development master plans. You want to work with your EDs. You want to work with your commissioners. You want to work with your towns. You want to just be available to be of help. In some places, they really don't. So the things that are being asked, you may need to kind of highlight or see where you can help. But you always want to make sure you're checking in with your county, because this is a very big process and can be very exciting, because I think there's a lot of groups around, as you've seen in the cottage food bill, in a lot of the things that have come forward, wanting to help with economic development, and they're doing it. But Extension and the Land Grant University works with their counties, so always checking in with your county to say, how are we doing? How can I help? Are we going in the right direction? Is this in the sights of what you all think we should be doing? And then working with those partners. I think that's important. But I think as we go along, and thank you again for all the help, it's really now going back and doing the work in your counties that your commissioners and the folks that support you really want you to do, and making sure that whatever it is you do, you're doing it in the tone and in the integrity of your county. That's very, very important. As we go through this, and I touched a little bit on the value chain analysis, not only Dr. Graff is working on that, but he has a PhD student, Becky Goldblack, she may be contacting people, and if you see an email from her, the value chain analysis really is a way, as opposed to a supply chain, which really only talks about you grow the crop, you produce the crop, you sell the crop, and it's over. The value chain really begins to hook together our entire state, which is why food and ag is now a key industry, because I don't even think the state recognized how deeply involved agriculture was across all the 15 industries. So the value chain is a conversation. It's a conversation about not only how food is grown and how the production is done, it's a conversation about what happens to it and what does that create. It creates restaurants, it creates biomedical, it creates research, it creates all of the different pharmaceuticals that come along, but it creates jobs and it creates communities. And so this is a conversation about how agriculture really underlies the entire state. And so it's trying to find out, and when you look at the beverage industry, you look at beer and wine, they're actually counted in manufacturing. They're not counted in agriculture, but they use our water and they use our land and they use our labor. So if you look at land, water, and labor, they really are agriculture. So, and they've never had an opportunity to really say that. So the value chain will begin bringing in some very interesting partners. Ornamental landscapers, you begin to look at that, that's a grown product. You begin to look at the lavender people and what they do. So you begin to look at that, and then what does that create? It creates a job for someone working in a restaurant. It becomes a job for someone working at a golf course. And certainly, turf is certainly an agricultural product. You look at someone working in just a nursery, that's certainly an agricultural product. And then the health and well-being of communities, the obesity issue, the diabetes issue, all of these things connect. And when you begin to look at that, that's a value chain. And it's a very complex conversation we're going to have, and Dr. Graff and Becky are going to need help from extension agents to answer questions about businesses in your community, what your community is doing, the San Luis Valley and the research going on in the potato industry, the issues with obesity on the Eastern Plains, and the work that MCR is doing, looking at juvenile diabetes. All of those things come back to land. They come back to land, and they come back to agents that have the information to reach into the university and answer those questions.
Good, thanks.
Did we get